Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do you know what time it is? Dying time is here! That's right, boys and girls, and we are at the Iron Shack with the Thunder Nutz. It is their home stadium, and they will be playing, well, we will see who their opponent is going to be, but you can see their fans are more than excited. I don't see a lot of dwarves up there. A lot of humans are cheering for them, but we got the Thunder Nutz here, coached by Vince Bombardi, and today they will be playing Pus Pestilence, brought to you by Torpid Frog or Jane Austen, whichever you want. You can see they've had a pretty nice meal there. They are showing their meals through their bellies. And let's see, we are, oh yes, we already said that we are in the Thunder Nutz home stadium, so they will be, oh, and a star player, Mercenary, has come onto the field here today. So let's see who's going to win the coin toss here. Patches is helping me coach today. Just jumping on up, saying, okay, what's going on? Alright, looks like Pus Pestilence will be kicking off to the Thunder Nutz. So they're going to set up a lot on the line there. The Pus Pestilence have used Lewd Grip before, Lewd Grip before, I got it right the first time. They've used them against Sewer Water Sally's. He's now in the middle. He's pretty strong, and he has those long tentacles. He can stop runners from getting through. They're putting everything on the line, putting nothing in the backfield. I guess they just assume that they're going to need them against these tough dwarves. Plus, the dwarves won't be able to get past them, so they just have the kicker in the back. And there is a perfect defense, which is... oh yeah, perfect defense is in. They're just going to be strong along this line here. The dwarves have a strong line of their own with only a couple people back there, and they cannot seem to catch it. So, who is that? It's going to have to... Murgatroyd Skittle had to go back and get the ball. Now he's going to run over towards their right side of the field. So this is going to be a game about that right side. Now they're going to put up the defense up in the front. Not going to worry so much about the backfield. And they're going to start pushing through. Oh, and with their frenzy, oh, he gets a little too far. And Depot's Popsy goes sprawling onto the ground. Now Pus Pestilence is going to go along the outside. They're going to try to envelop. Going to envelop on both sides, which kind of works against dwarves because dwarves typically don't go very far. They're usually pretty compact in the center. And here comes the blitz. And Quackadiley Blip goes, well, back a little bit. I thought he was going to go to the ground there, but... and he's right in the face of the ball carrier. Oh! And Lendever Jensen is knocked down and stunned. Already the Pus Pestilence are making their way in there. Thunder Nutz are actually a really good team. They haven't done exceedingly well in this league so far. They've kind of had a little bit of bad luck, and just their slowness has been, it's sort of worked against them. And there goes the star player, kicking one of the dwarves in the face. And the dwarves come back with a vengeance. They're going to start kicking some Nurgle butt. And they've opened up a gap, but it won't do them too much good if they can't bring any blockers with them. Oh, and that will work against the dwarves, getting kicked in the face. Not that many blockers around the ball carrier, so it's looking pretty good for the Nurgle so far. Especially since they now have a player right in the ball carrier's face. Oh, but with rolls like that, Pus Pestilence will actually have a little bit more difficulty. They did knock down a player on the far side, but they had to use a reroll to do it. And they're breaking through the line, getting to that ball carrier. I have something clicked on there. I need to get this. Oh, did you see that? That was like a twirling through the air. or a spinning through the air with his, and knocking him with his head. And now they've got to the ball player. They're knocking the ball player back. Murgatroyd Skittle has been knocked back by you. Oh, and there was a mutual both ways between the Nurgle and the Dwarves, knocking off of one another. Now Stinky Steve knocks back Marum. And Lewd Grip, the star player who's a mercenary, comes in and knocks back to Popsy. And there's a Chaos player on the field. I guess the Nurgle gets some of them. Then maybe it's an undead one, or I'm not quite sure, but with those horns, he's going to knock him back a bit. Alright, now we go back to the Dwarves. They're going to come back at them. It's, once again, this has been the thing that's plaguing the Dwarves. They, knock into them. Oh, and there's where the Dwarf ability comes in, is whenever they get that double result, they end up winning that little melee. So they're going to knock the Pus Pestilence, the Nurgle, back a bit, and they're going to get really good hits like that. But they're not going to. They're not really not getting a lot of movement on the field. I mean, they wind up in these melees, and oftentimes end up holding off or pushing back the opponent, which really would make them good in a defensive battle. Problem is, Jakar the Swollen is dead, and there is a death on the field, ladies and gentlemen. Do they have? Oh, and either way, even with Apothecary helping him, he is still dead. He is permanently removed. Jakar the Swollen is gone. That is one death on the field. So, like I was saying, the Dwarves are really good at knocking them around, and now they're going to go to the other side of the field. The problem is they just don't make a lot of headway down the field. They're making their headway over to the other side of the field. If they were defending a castle or something like that, they certainly would be holding off these monsters. But since this is not about holding a castle, but rather getting to the other side of the field, the Dwarves oftentimes come up empty. At least in this competition, that's been the case. And here come the speaking of the monsters, here comes one of them with the horns, and bringing on one of the Dwarves. And their luck runs out as they get knocked down on the field. Dwarves are holding their own, but still not making any progress. And you have, actually, this is one thing that's going to work in the Dwarf favor. They still have 4 rerolls, while the Nurgle have none remaining. So they're now opening up a gap over there on their left side. Knocking them back a ways. And they're doing a pretty good job of it here. If this blitz goes pretty well, it's only going to be a knockback. But oh, and then he keeps on running, but he should not have done the follow-up because he had to dodge and then he slipped. However, with the replay, he makes it to the other side. That was a rethinking on the side of the Dwarf player because now he needs coverage over on that left, and that is a long run by Murgatroyd Skittle. Or is that Murgatroyd? Yeah, Murgatroyd Skittle is over there. That is their star player. And speaking of star players, Lewd Grip knocks down one of the Dwarves who's trying to take him down. They had to use one of the rerolls to create that block, but now Thunder Nutz has an opening on the left side. They might actually have a way to the end zone, especially because the Nurgle are not an incredibly fast team, and they're way over here on the right. They're going to have to run a long ways over there. They're not really good at dodging. They're not really very fast. And with no rerolls, they are going to get themselves knocked down. That is an opening for the Dwarves to make it to the touchdown. And he's making a little bit of room for himself over there, further over to the left. He sacrificed a little bit of distance to get himself further over to the left, away from the Nurgle that are coming after them. Is it Nurgle or Nurgles? What would be their plural? Anyway, another knock to the nuts, this time to the star player. Lewd Grip has been knocked down. And now the Troll Slayer is going over there to guard. And they're knocking down these Nurgle all over the place. What looked like the Dwarves getting hedged in over on the right now has become a full-on run on the left, and they're just going to continue to beat up these Nurgle way over here on the right side. Sounds like somebody's starting the song War. War isn't good for... Well, these guys would never be singing that, though. They'd be saying, war's good for, and then they'd list off like a whole bunch of stuff. It is from Warhammer, after all. TM. Alright, the Nurgle are getting up, but it doesn't look like they're going to make much of a run for the ball carrier. They're instead just going to start injuring players all over the place so they can't come back later. And that's about all they can do right now. So the Dwarves are going to get themselves in the position. Rather than going for a touchdown, I think Nurgatroyd Skittle can make it in for a touchdown. Yes, he is in. He has room, but they have the confidence. They know the Nurgle cannot reach him right now, and so they're just going to sit there and beat up some of their players, including the star player. And here he goes in for the touchdown. He is going to stop. He knows that the Nurgle cannot reach them, so he is going to just simply guard them right there and make the time run out so that the Nurgle will not have the time to come back with a touchdown of their own. This is a smart move on the part of Thundernutz. And there we go again. It would have been a mighty blow. Matt the Flatulent is stunned. Mighty blow. Mighty blow. And so it looks like the Dwarves are going to get a score. It's now just kind of a melee. Who's going to injure whom for the rest of this half? Now, this is one strategy that the Dwarves can really win at, because, like, for instance, that knockdown right there, it looked pretty bad, but with the Dwarves, they have so much armor, there's probably not going to be a lot of damage done to them. They're probably going to do more damage to Pus and Pestilence players than they are going to do to them. There is a reason they have the name Thundernutz. And they're going in for the touchdown! Touchdown, Murgatroyd Skittle on the side of the Thundernutz. And he has earned that celebratory drink. Come to think of it, I don't have my drink with me. All I have is some Red Bull and some water here with me. I just need to get myself woken up here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Dead and injured. One player killed on the side of the Pus and Pestilence. And you notice none of the Dwarves are injured. That is the main advantage of them, is they just do not get injured in these games. They are solid. And now here comes the kick. Both teams get an extra reroll this half. And it is going to juggle in the hands. Actually, I was going to say that Pus and Pestilence doesn't have much of a chance of scoring this turn. They really don't. However, when the ball goes so shallow like that, there's a slight possibility in 2 turns they might be able to at least get it pretty far down the field. Maybe even get a touchdown if they are very, very lucky. I don't know if they quite have that distance, but we will see. They're knocking off all along the line of scrimmage there. Margaret Shazbach is stunned, and there goes the star player. I bet the Pestilence, yeah, if he does go for it. Oh, he went for it and slipped. He probably tripped on one of his own tentacles. He's going to do the reroll. Is he going to go further? He made it. You see, that is probably what they're going to do, is if they can get their hands on the ball enough to throw it, maybe possibly they can get it to him, they're going to toss it. And he's not even going to reach for it. He's going to look there and it's just going to go right over his head. However, the ball has landed right there. There's a possibility that the star player could run over there, get the ball, and go in for a touchdown. So, Thunder Nutz are going to have to block his way, which is exactly what they're going to do with Murgatroyd Skittle again. He really is their best player. He has been the ball carrier. He's been the one that stopped the others from running. And now here goes with the blitz. And a block. How perfect is that to get the one roll? That is the true advantage of the Dwarves. When you get that result, Dwarves don't go down. Everyone else does. Basically, anybody who has block doesn't go down, but all the Dwarves have block. That was the perfect thing to stop that and stop that play. And this is basically the end of the half. I mean, we are going to be playing through the rest of this, see who gets injured, but it is pretty well settled that the Dwarves will end this half with 1 point. And there is no way that the Pus Pestilence can get a play off this half. Oh man, there was one run. They're going to go for it anyway. There. Okay, and then we come back to the field. That was kind of a risky move to do at the end of that half. The Thunder Nutz sent one of their players running and did the go for it move, to get a couple of extra movements, which wouldn't have mattered. But if he had slipped, he could have injured himself. That was a risk that really did not need to be taken. All right, so let's get it set up for the second one. Half will be the Thunder Nutz kicking off to Pus Pestilence here. Pus Pestilence has very interesting setups at the beginnings of these. They kind of look like chessboard. Either they'll do straight up strong on the front, or they do these pyramidal or checker setups. All right, a gentle gust of winds makes the ball scatter 1 extra square. Okay, so the wind is picked up somehow underground in this dwarf field. All right, and it has landed over there to the right. I'm wondering why the dwarf field is not made up of rock. Why are we not underground? Or was this actually the Pus Pestilence field? Maybe I'm just mistaken that, because you do have the Pus Pestilence symbol there. So this must... No, but then you have Thunder Nutz there. No, I think we are at the Thunder Nutz Stadium. They just chose to have AstroTurf down here for some reason. I guess these are dwarves that want to feel like they're above ground. Alright, so Pus Pestilence setting themselves up to guard where the ball is, and the ball carrier is going to go and pick it up and move up behind his guard there. Now he's going to bring someone to guard his side. I've noticed Pus Pestilence oftentimes don't create full boxes around them. They create kind of half boxes around their front. That gives them more players to do just that, to knock into their opponents. And here come the Dwarves coming around their side. They're going to try to do a little bit of an envelopment here to get even more of them to knock them. Look at those, what was that, brass knuckles there, or perhaps they're iron knuckles, who knows. And they're doing a full envelopment around there. That is the problem with the Pus Pestilence, not making a full cage around them, not making a cage on their backs, because if the opponents envelop them, they can get behind them. However, I think that in some ways the Nurgle are not expecting the Dwarves to be able to fully accomplish that. And now here comes the Blitz. It is going to be a knockback. That guy's kind of swirling around there like he's Stevie Wonder or something like that. But although his helmet does look like he can't see out of it, so... Oh, I'm going to knock that guy back into a box of dwarves. I've once been knocked into a box of dwarves. It was not pleasant. The smell, I will not even tell you of the smell. Alright, here comes a Pus Pestilence player going down the field. Maybe they're going to go for a pass with that. They're not known for their passing abilities, but, hey, they're not known for not having pass abilities. So, here comes a Blitz over on the side, actually to the same player to Murgatroyd Skittle, who performed the Blitz over there. Murgatroyd Skittle really is, and you can see that he's going to level up in the next part. He really has been the star of the Thunder Nutz. He did the Blitz last time, and he took the Blitz this time. And the runner is going down the field. Wow! Pus Pestilence has slipped through a gap there. Oh, and now they went for it and slipped. Their hoof just could not hold the ground. We're going to get a replay of that, and he's going to make that extra little... He needed that extra little movement to have guard there. Wow, the Pus Pestilence coach really takes a lot of these risks where he will not create a full box. He will trust that he has enough of a defense with one single player And the dwarves are not going after them. They are instead knocking down some of the players that are further... Oh, and he has stunned Ooze. And the dwarves are making a box around them. I've told you how bad that can be. Infectious Ted has the ball, by the way. But Infectious Ted is not going to have the ball for long. Oh, no, he is. He's just been knocked forward. He is no longer in that box of dwarves, but the dwarves are following him up. He is closer in range of a touchdown. And now they've been tripped. Pus Pestilence has the turn, has the ball, and is in range of a touchdown. But they're going to first knock some dwarves around. I'm not quite sure why. But now they're going to go for it, but then they get tripped and knocked down, and without any rerolls, the ball is now free and open. Goes to the dwarves. This is bad news for Pus Pestilence. And the luck may have just turned around for the dwarves. They are going to knock, what's his name? Gurkle out of the way. And they're going to bring back, who is that? Lennar Jensen. Lendifer Jensen. I can't pronounce the dwarves. Alright, going to go for a replay. And Maron now has the ball. The long beard is going to go for it. Move a little bit further. And with their blockability, they're going to knock down the Nurgle that was in the middle of that box I was talking about earlier. And they're going to knock down Lewd Grip. Kick to the punch to the balls. Brings down Lewd Grip, the Nurgle star player. Now the dwarves are coming back to create a box. They have a long way to go. It is going to be like a Frodo and Samwise of those two. I know they have other player names, but I'm looking at it as Frodo and Samwise. They have a very long way to Mount Doom there, and they're already getting attacked by Infectious Ted. That's one thing about Lord of the Rings is Frodo did not have to deal with Infectious Ted. Maybe he wouldn't have made it if there was Infectious Ted on his tail. Things look really bad for us, Mr. Frodo. We have a blitz coming at us with this guy named Matt the Flatulent. Oh, and the block! He hit him with the block, which is the one thing you do not want to get when attacking the dwarves. That is what makes the dwarves tough. Yet again, they are getting a lot of these rolls that just happen to be the one element that causes the dwarves to be strong. And here comes with the blitz into the back of Infectious Ted. Just going to knock him to the side there, not going to knock him down. So he is still going to be there running interference. Although now you have the Troll Slayer from the back. I've had a Troll Slayer from the back as well. It is not, and in fact, it is, I think, my Samwise there, and our, well, this is no longer our Sam and Flora because these are different guys. Actually, this is Hingle McCringle, Hingle McCringleberry is hitting him from the side. Oh no, this is our Frodo, Maron. And they're going to keep knocking around that star player. Wow. You know, it is not... You can spend a lot of points on a star player, but when he's sitting on the ground a lot, he's not really doing much for you. And a punch to the stomach will open up the left side of the field. Once again, that is where the Dwarves got their score last time, was the left side of the field, and it looks like they're going to do it again. We have two teams this time that are actually rather slow, and it's hard for them to adjust when one of them goes to the other side of the field. The other one has difficulty adjusting. And our star player gets up. Lewd Grip gets up. Asthmatic Chad is now up. And they are readjusting to their right side. And going in for... Wow, he dodged around to get the blitz. And once again, rolls exactly what the Dwarves need. Gurkle is KO'd. He made a long run, made all the way there, got a whole bunch of luck, but then rolled exactly what the Dwarves are successful at, which is that block. They've... You know, what has really worked against the Dwarves is that they just kept not getting that result, the result that, you know, they had the advantage of. They kept rolling other things, but this game, they have kept getting exactly what they need. That result where you would both go down unless you are a blocker, like the Dwarves. And here he is running over to the left. This time it's going to be Maron. Go, Mr. Frodo, go! I'm coming towards you! First I've got to take out this guy with long tentacles. Come back here, you filth! And Shelob is now down yet again. You know, that's got to be very frustrating for the Nurgle coach, being that Ludgrip, he must have spent a lot of points on Ludgrip, and he spent this whole game on his back. I hope he's getting paid for being on his back so much. Oh! Now over here we did miss something with Asthmatic Chad has now been knocked into the way of Maron. So as a result, oh, once again there's that block that the Dwarves so much love getting. But anyway, so the Nurgle really have nothing over here to stop them. I mean, they have Ludgrip, who keeps getting knocked to the ground, but now they have Asthmatic Chad over there, and this is going to make it quite a bit more difficult for Maron to make it. And here comes the Blitz. He dodged out of the way. Oh, and he rolls the skull with no re-rolls. Maron is going to knock him down himself. The ball player is going to hold the ball in one hand, punch him with the other. He does have the body in his way right in front of him, but now he can run around him. Now the Thunder Nutz are running down there. They might actually get 2 scores in one turn, which is so rare for the Dwarves for them to have enough movement to even make it for 2 scores. But here they go. You don't usually see the Dwarves getting a large rushing score, but here we are. And Verrill knocking down, or knocking back Ludgrip. For once, Ludgrip is not on the ground, but he is pushed out of the way. Yeah, the Nurgle really have nothing. I mean, look, they're way over here on this side, down the field, and the Dwarves are, you know, making it towards their touchdown. So, and the Dwarves just keep making a gap, even where they don't need gaps. And now the Nurgle are trying anything they can, desperately chasing after him yet again, and they're gonna get a knockdown on Maron. It is Asthmatic Chad who has been their best player this particular time. He's come out of nowhere and been able to stop the run. And they've got the ball. Kraslaw has the ball. Just when things looked desperate for Pus and Pestilence, just when it looked like there was no hope for them, and they get tripped though. I was just going to say, they managed to get the ball, and they managed to get a little bit of blockers, but they got tripped, and so it now goes over to Thunder Nutz. They're going to roll once again that block die, or that block result. Going to knock out one of the blockers. Here comes Murgatroyd Skittle yet again, the hero of the Thunder Nutz. They're going to knock down Stinky Steve. But that's the less important thing. What is going to happen up here? Oh, here we go. To pop Poopsie. That, you know, it was interesting. He had the, what is it? He had the Dauntless ability, which basically makes it so that if he's taking on somebody bigger than him, he has a chance of being equal with them or even better, and that's an appropriate thing for the Dwarves to have. I don't care that you're bigger and stronger than me. I'm going to kick your butt. Now they're going to guard themselves around him, and Hingle McCringleberry in for the hit on the back. Smacks him right in the square in the back. What is that in regular football? I forget there's a word for that. But he's going to keep running for it, and he's going to get tripped. But he's going to re-roll that sucker. And he's going to get there, and he has the ball. And he's going to keep on running. He is going for it, going towards the touchdown. The Thunder Nutz have the ball, and they're running midfield straight for that touchdown. They're going to keep knocking people around, but they're only going to. But the real important thing is up there, upfield, heading towards their touchdown. If they make it, they're going to get 2 points on this. They will only have 1 turn left to make it all the way back. And that's it! That's touchdown! Hingle McCringleberry gets the second score for the Thunder Nutz. He is going to take his celebratory drink. And congratulations. That was an extraordinary run for the Thunder Nutz. They have not had They've rarely had one score, now they've had two in one game. Wow, that was an exciting one. The Thunder Nutz come out of that victorious. Alright, they have had 10 armor breaks, and there's not much to read on this particular one. Let's look at these statistics. There's the reason why they won. 75% ball possession versus 12% on Pus Pestilence, and more on the occupation during their own half. A lot of yards running. There's something you do not see in a Dwarf game. 102 yards running. That is just absolutely crazy. And of course the block sustain 57% on the Pus and Pestilence. That's more normal for the Dwarves. SPP, look at that. Thunder Nutz are going to get a lot of points. Their characters are going to be leveling up. Pus and Pestilence are going to have Juck the Moldy. I don't even remember when Juck the Moldy did anything, but for some reason that's what they're going to have. And that is where we're going to leave it here at the end of this round. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more of it, and we still have a few more of these left for this season. Happy gaming, everybody!